right, my plate is nice and dry. Let me check out yours. It looks like it is ready to go. A couple of words of caution. Like I said before, paint is glue.
Right.
This is paper. We're going to be applying glue to paper, and then we're going to be pressing more paper into that glue. So you can't do this and then run and, make some popcorn in the microwave and come back.
Okay.
We need to just go, okay? And again, I'm going to give you a pep talk.
Yes, please.
If it turns out goofy, it's just a piece of paper. No matter what, this is collage paper that we can cut up and use in our art.
Okay.
So don't be too caught up in the result. I do think that this kind of printing takes practice. So try again at home, practice, 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 and it will go well. Okay, so first thing to do is we need to load the plate with acrylic paint.
Okay.
And there's a key, there's a learning curve for how much paint, and I can't really tell you, you just have to do it wrong.
Okay.
So load the paint. I will say it probably takes a little more than you're going to initially want to put on there. I like to do 2 colors so I get more variation in the print. And you want it just, I don't do anything carefully, goodness gracious. So I just load it on there. Sound good? Let me see how you're doing. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then you've got a lot of paint on the craft sheet, which is going to print if you're not careful. So you might want to just move your plate over just a smidge, okay? And then you're going to lay your paper down. Now technically a collagraph would require a press. Well, we've already established we are not going to use presses, so we're just going to use our hands or a Baron or a brayer to burnish. And if you do that for too long, you will glue. Oh, I love mine already.
Oh, yeah, I like mine too.
Oh, yeah.
I did have a little too much paint, I think.
And that's the learning curve.
Yeah.
So that's where you go, okay, I need to clean paint away maybe. I had the same issue here. I might need to clean the paint away from around the shapes a little bit, but that is still really interesting. Okay, so let's not let too much time go. While this paint is still wet, let's put more on there. I'm gonna even switch colors. This is how the plate ends up looking really interesting too, is you add and layer tons of different paint colors you go.
I use an awful lot of paint, I think.
So that, the lesson here is less. In fact, you may have enough paint on your plate right now to pull a second print.
Okay.
So grab another piece of paper. Don't add any more acrylic to that. And see what happens. The great thing about this process that I do, and I do spend all my days doing this instead of doing my chores, is that it's so fun. And even if it turns out sort of goofy, it's so fun. Let me see. Oh,
that's pretty cool.
That is turning out better and better every time.
Yeah. I think I might actually try another one.
Yeah, try another one. You might. Now, when you get the first print, that's your primary print. And then when you do a next print, it's called secondary. And then you're even getting a tertiary print. I've had people in class burnish and burnish and burnish, and that's when they've created the glue-to-glue situation. Oh, I love that. I think I might be able to get yet another print. So how long you do this depends on how much time you have when you've got to go pick the children up or go to work, a real job that pays money. That's my secondary print.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
the key here is artistic experimentation, because as you go, I want you to embrace the question, what happens if? So what happens if now I add white? What happens if I spray water on this and then print? What happens if I try to line it up and then offset it a couple millimeters and get kind of a shadow happening? And the play is where the knowledge and the artistic coolness, that's really not the best adjective, but you get the idea. Through the play, the coolness happens, and you'll make discoveries that you can't play if you're not playing, or that you'll make discoveries that you can't reproduce and you can't get to if you're not just messing around and playing. The Baron is so nice to print with. Okay, so you could do this all day. We won't, because we're going to move on. Yeah, and I have. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to hit my deadline today.
Right.
And then 4 hours later, I'm still doing stuff like, what happens if I get grass from the backyard? And so, it's just great. And then look how cool these look.
I know, I really like it.
So this is paper. Can you tell mine's starting to disintegrate? Right here, can you see that the paper is starting to get chewed up and is starting to lift?
Yeah.
That's because we use tags. It's because I use an inexpensive material, and it's not going to last for miles and miles and miles. So once I start to get some disintegration, I call it done. I'm going to put this aside and let that dry. That may show up in my work as is. I may cut it up. But if I even told you to paint that way, you wouldn't be able to. You know, you have to just let the serendipitous nature of the printing happen.